It's official. Ripple has filed for a national banking license here in the United States. What could this mean for Ripple, the company, XRP, the token, and RLUSD, the stablecoin? Well, you found the right video for that information, guys. I've been researching this for over a year already. I've got all of the key details you need to know and how this is going to impact, of course, our XRP holdings. Let's go ahead and better understand what's actually being said here by Brad Garlinghouse, and then I'll get into all of the jazz and all the really good information that you are here for. So Brad Garlinghouse says, true to our long-standing compliance roots, Ripple is applying for a national bank charter from the OCC. If approved, we would have both the state and federal oversight, a new benchmark for trust in the stablecoin market. Earlier this week, via standard custody, we also applied for a Fed master account. While Congress is working towards clear rules and regulations and banks are leaning in, this access would allow us to hold RLUSD reserves directly with the Fed and provide an additional layer of security to future-proof trust RLUSD. Ripple always has and will continue to build trusted, battle-tested, and secure infrastructure in the $250 billion plus market. RLUSD stands out for putting regulation first, setting the standard that institutions expect. Remember, when Ripple launched RLUSD, they were waiting for the approval from the New York Department of Financial Services. That is at the state level in New York. Obviously, this would give them an ability to get customers all over the United States and so many other things. I did put a thread to this, so if you guys are not following me here on X, please do so. There's a lot of new news that gets posted right away. And of course, I make at least 2 videos a day for you to keep you up to date with everything that's happening in the XRP space, CBDC space, and of course the crypto space. So make sure you're following. And of course, if you want to come for these live streams that I do, please check those out on Tuesdays and Fridays. But let's go ahead and get into this because I know that's what you're waiting for. So the biggest benefits for XRP. Let's start with XRP first. Direct regulatory access. As a bank, Ripple could use XRP directly in the US for liquidity and settlement, overcoming current regulatory barriers that forced it to use alternatives like USDT domestically. This would expand XRP's utility within the US financial system. So if you didn't know, Ripple was using USDT. This was before they launched RLUSD. I'd imagine that they have faded out the USDT and are using their own stablecoin, but this would be a key benefit for XRP. On-demand liquidity. XRP is designed as a bridge currency for cross-border payments, allowing instant and cost-effective transfers between different fiat currencies. As a bank, Ripple could scale this service globally and domestically, reducing the need for pre-funded accounts and unlocking billions in idle capital. It's actually trillions in idle capital. So we hear this a lot. If you've been in the crypto space for a while, you've heard of Nostro, Vostro accounts, yours and mine. When a bank is moving a lot of money or money into another country, they need to have that money already there in a pre-funded account. And this has caused a lot of money to be locked up all over the system. That is a lot of friction that we're trying to get rid of. And so this would give Ripple the ability to use XRP unlike it's ever been used before on a massive scale. Also, you got to understand that a lot of people don't spend as much time as you do researching all of this stuff and keeping up with the news. So if you're a bank or a financial institution and you're looking at Ripple, there's probably some checks that you do that maybe we don't do, but there's also a lot of information that they might not have or know because they're not keeping up with it like you and I are. This would really give Ripple the, thumbs up or the go ahead or regulatory approval from any financial institution to trust Ripple, because to get a banking license of this caliber, you need to follow so many things. And I'm going to give you that just in a second. If you didn't watch my first video on this, you should, I'll talk to you in a second with that. So increased institutional adoption. With banking status, Ripple would be more trusted by financial institutions, accelerating XRP's adoption as settlement asset and potentially increasing demand for price and stability. We love to hear that. Increasing demand and price stability. Yes, please. Enhanced liquidity, regulatory clarity, and direct access to payment rails would make it easier for institutions to buy, hold, and use XRP for large-scale transactions, further boosting liquidity. And of course, the transparency and security side. XRP's blockchain provides a transparent, audible record of transactions, reducing fraud risk and increasing compliance and regulated entities. You know what I don't see on here? So let's take an example, the ECB central bank digital currency. If you are a country and you want to create a central bank digital currency, what better company, blockchain infrastructure company to partner with than a bank? right? That is the highest trust level in this system. Highest. The benefits for RLUSD: stable on-chain settlement. Ripple's USD peg stablecoin provides a stable medium for transactions, reducing exposure to crypto volatility for banks and institutions. This is especially valuable for settlement, payroll, and treasury options. Also, if Ripple wanted to, let's say, launch a stablecoin for JP Morgan, remember what were the four big banks? Four big US banks wanting to create a stable. It was JP Morgan, it was Bank of America, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo. Do you think by having this that they would probably think Ripple is probably the great solution to launch that stablecoin on, especially if Ripple themselves were in fact a bank? You tell me. Boost the XRP ecosystem. RLUSD transactions on the XRP ledger and its EVM sidechain pay gas fees in XRP, burning a very small amount. So more transactions, more gas being used, more XRP being burned. Deflationary. Liquidity management. Banks could use RLUSD for stable, predictable settlements and then convert it to XRP for cross-border liquidity, optimizing capital flows and minimizing FX risk. And also regulatory compliance. As a bank-issued stablecoin, RLUSD would be subject to banking regulations, making it more attractive to regulated institutions and enabling broader integration with traditional finance. So here are some summary of impact if you want to read those. I won't read those again to you. I do want to show you, this was something I pulled out of my last video that is already on my channel. I actually made this video yesterday before we even got this news. Not this video, but the first video I made on Ripple becoming a bank. I've made several of these videos over the last 6 to 12 months, and a lot of people called me crazy. Not so crazy these days, right? And so these are the things that Ripple would need to do to apply to become a bank. If you missed that video, I got you. Here you go. So they need to choose what type of bank. And so Ripple has already done that. They want to file for a national bank charter. And so the differences were if you want to file for a national bank charter or if you want to file for a state charter. And so Ripple already identified they want to be a federal bank. And then, of course, the next thing would do to create a business plan. If Ripple's already filed this license, they have already done all of this pre-planning. Mission, objectives, products, services, target market, financial projections. They have done all of this. Expect this to already be done since they already applied. Assemble a qualified management team. Very soon, you're going to start hearing who's actually going to head up this bank, who's going to be in control of it, and what that management team is going to look like. We're also going to start hearing about what kind of services Ripple is going to offer. Do they want to just work with other banks and financial institutions like they've done all along, or are they going to open accounts to XRP holders or RLUSD holders or just regular people that want something better than what they've had the last 50 or 100 years? Right? People want the newest and latest technology. They also want to feel that they are appreciated and thought about, and they are getting the newest services for keeping their money at the bank. And Ripple is going to be able to offer all of those services right from day one. So we talked about assembled a qualified team. Power Rangers. Oh God, I don't know why that just got stuck in my head. Forget it. Meet capital requirements. So Ripple could meet to satisfy the minimum capital requirements. These are what they are in the United States. Register and apply for a charter, which we just saw. So they're already back here on step 5. They're already on step 5. So they've already pre-planned and done all of this stuff I just went over with you. The next thing would be to obtain deposit insurance from the FDIC. If you have a bank account in America and it's FDIC insured, which most of these banks I think are, I think it's one of those things. I'm not a banker, so you have to apologize. I do apologize. But this is a $250,000 insurance in case something happens to the account or the bank. It comes with every account up to $250,000. Some banks might give more for people that have more money. I don't know anything about that. Regulatory review and approval. The application undergoes detailed review, including background checks and key personal assessment of financial stability, risk management, and infrastructure and operation readiness. So this could take a year or more. This could be a very long time. Or the Trump administration can say, hey, we really want to show the American people that we are serious about bringing crypto into the 21st century in America, and we're just going to hand out one of these licenses a little bit faster. The review process could be sped up if they really wanted to do it. Okay. If they don't speed it up, it could take a year more. And then you also have ongoing compliance. Once you're licensed, Ripple would be subject to ongoing regulatory oversight, including regulatory reporting, audits, and of course, adherence to capital adequacy and risk management standards. The interesting part here is USDT Tether. They might be kicked out of the US because they haven't been able to show that they have the one-to-one reserves to back up their stablecoin. Now, I'm not saying that they can't do that in the future, but it hasn't been a top priority for them. Ripple, on the other hand, is working to become a national chartered bank. You can see the differences and the seriousness of these two companies. I don't know how long our USDT will last if it doesn't have access to America markets or European markets, but we will see how that all comes together. And I also wanted to just see here if I missed anything. Dual regulatory oversight, right? We talked about that Ripple could operate under both state and federal oversight. Direct access to the Federal Reserve infrastructure. The Fed master account would allow Ripple to hold RLUSD in reserves. We did talk about this a little bit. This could also unlock other things that maybe we just don't know yet. Also, I really think the CBDC side, eventually the US will have a CBDC. You know, one party doesn't stay in power forever. Usually one party gets in, they do a bunch of stuff. People get tired of the stuff that they did. They want to vote for the other party. The other party gets in power, and then they decide what they want to do for 4 years or 8 years, whatever it's going to be. I'd imagine that you're going to have a power shift over the next 4 to 8 years here in the United States. And whatever that'll come of it, I'm sure you'll have some type of CBDC launched at that point. The US is going to do that. I will put my reputation and everything that I have in the last 5 years I put in the crypto space that the US will do this in the next 10 years. Obviously, you know, we have to see what happens in 2028. So let me know what you guys think about Ripple becoming a bank. This is really incredible news, guys. I am so excited and stoked about this. Let me know how you're feeling. Thank you so much for watching my content. I hope you liked it, and I hope you left a comment. I'll see you next time. I'm Crypto Sensei. Aloha. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.